Welcome to ADP Environmental Services video blog, the first of many to come. Hopefully we can show you through a few things on a septic tank which will be interest of you, and it'll be able to make sure, obviously, you have the issues in the future, you can at least have some sort of example to show. First of all, we got a phone call from Mr. Cornish and his wife Margot. He had a problem with his septic tank. His septic tank was backing up, and obviously backing up into the property, which is a massive defect and obviously a massive problem for the customer on site. We attended site, we did a full CCTV inspection of all the drainage on site. And one of the major points is why we do this as well is because obviously we want to make sure that there's no cross connections, as in there's no surface water off the roof coming into the actual septic tank, because if there is, then obviously that's going to cause major issues and down the line. So we completed the CCTV inspection, and we found that obviously the discharge point from the septic tank was totally wrong. So 1 point discharge point from a septic tank, which is obviously not in line with current regulations. So then we had to obviously make sure we could give him a plan of action, and a couple of plans in fact, obviously, to how we can resolve it. First of all, did the inspection of the septic tank, an internal structural inspection to see if there was any structural damage to the tank. Everything was intact, and the sizing of the septic tank was perfect, so there was no visual defects on that side of things. We completed a CCTV inspection on the drainage coming up, obviously, to the property. Found a few defects, which was good to see, obviously, with the CCTV equipment. Well, not good to see for the customer, obviously, but it was good to see it on the CCTV and catch it early before doing any works. So we found a defect on the line coming up. The line's basically dipped, which is causing the sewage to hold in the drainage line, which is obviously going to cause blockages, and it has caused blockages in the past from what the customers advised us, where they've had to have it jetted down, but no one's ever done the CCTV work on it. We actually found a pump station on site as well, which the customer wasn't aware of. It was basically for the swimming pool facilities down the back, which then pumps up into the septic tank. So we were going to do an inspection on that as well and get that on a service contract so we can maintain the whole thing. What do you do when your septic tank's backing up? You're basically in the crap, as I say, but you give us a call and then we can come out and obviously do this sort of work, and we can get a resolution for you and make sure everything is, when it is done, it's in line with current regulations. We jetted the line for this customer just to confirm that it was, and we CCTV'd the discharge line, and we've currently got what we found was an absolute shocker. They put a perforated pipe in there, and then obviously the perforated pipe is blocked up, and when we've jetted it, it's cleared it up at the back end here. So as you can see, the septic tank is currently discharging onto the customer's land, albeit, but again it's just on the surface there, and as you can see it's just trailing down and it's absolutely stinking. Obviously for the guys and the neighbours on site, they've all raised this issue, and this is the reason why we're here, obviously to resolve it and to make sure that everything's in line with regulations. So we'll bring you up site. Obviously, as you can see, we had to get a plan of action onto how to get into site, because access is limited. Around the front there's no way of accessing the machinery, the materials around the front, so we've had to take all these laurel bushes down, take the fence down, and as you can see on the floor here, there's trap mats, obviously to try and protect the ground as much as possible. First of all, what we did was got the septic tank emptied, did the inspection of the CCTV work, and then we put together a few plan of actions. Option 1 was to complete installation of the new sewage treatment plant, which is Obviously the one what we've opted for and we do a lot of installations for is the Trisol UK 10 pumped outlet. Now the initial plan of action was to install the sewage treatment plant and then discharge straight into the surface water road, which is at the bottom. Unfortunately, Environment Agency and everyone else involved, you're looking at a lead time which obviously the customer wasn't happy with, so we then had to get a new plan of action together, which was to potentially install a new drainage field. Now, new drainage fields can't just be installed just off the back of anything. You've got to make sure you do percolation tests. Percolation tests is basically to identify the VP reading, the VP value as I say, so then we can basically calculate the size of the drainage field. Now, there's nothing to say that we couldn't install a drainage field from the current septic tank, but as you can see we're limited in space as well here. So the benefit of putting a sewage treatment plant in is not only because obviously the performance of the system and the effluent quality discharging, which again I'll go in a bit more detail with you. That's the reason why we've gone for the drainage field here coming from a sewage treatment plant, because if we put a drainage field in from a septic tank, as you can imagine and as you can appreciate, because of the low effluent quality discharging from a septic tank would mean that your drainage field would then obviously have to increase. By installing a sewage treatment plant, that means we can reduce the size of the drainage field, obviously, and the drainage field is basically designed for the flows and loads discharging from the sewage treatment plant over there. But all while this box is being done, we're going to make sure that the customer is still online on the current system, albeit it's not the best, but it's better than keeping them off site and obviously getting them into an hotel at this current pandemic time. So as you can see, with restrictions access wise, we've had to use this section of his property here. As you can see, shiny new Trisol unit. And hopefully in, like I said, 7 to 10 days time, we'll have the site back as it would. Drainage field is going in the exact same position as where the machine is, from the treatment plant with a pumped outlet. We'll get this job done in the next week and a half, and we'll be able to show you some more pictures of obviously the finished products and obviously with the installation as it's going through. I hope that this has been a benefit for you. Obviously, if you want to give us a call or shoot us an email, our number is 0800 023 5479, or if you want to shoot us an email, it's info@adpmviro.co.uk. Thanks for your time and thanks for listening.